America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, I spoke with a military man about 2-3 months ago, and he told me as soon as the weather warms, things are going to get ugly this summer because this is exactly what Donald Trump wants. This military man warned me, told me back at the end of February, he said, Joe, as soon as it warms up out there, as soon as the summer hits, here comes Trump with his military. Here comes Trump, man, trying to create and stoke a crisis. This is what all authoritarians and dictators do, Joe. This is what a United States military officer told me back at the end of February. And he's spot on. We're here. It's the beginning of June, and this is what's going on in Los Angeles right now. Make no mistake about it. Donald Trump's wet dream is to put our military on our streets against our neighbors, against American citizens. This is what Trump wants. He wants a crisis. He wants to manufacture a crisis. He wants to create a crisis. And again, make no mistake about it, what's happening in Los Angeles right now, what's been happening in Los Angeles for the past few days is just a dry run. It's just a dress rehearsal. Buckle up, America. This is what Trump wants. Trump doesn't want there to be elections in 2026. This is just a dress rehearsal. And by the way, Kamala Harris had it right. Back in the 2024 campaign, Kamala Harris had it right. Keith, do you have that? Look at this. This was Kamala Harris during the campaign last year. Kamala Harris said in a speech at a rally, she said, Trump will send the army after you. She said to the American people. And of course, Trump's supporters said, that's a lie. That's a dangerous lie. That's not a lie. It was never a lie. Kamala Harris was right. This was always the truth. Donald Trump's wet dream is to put our Marines on our streets, to sick our army, to sick our Marines, to sick our military after the American people. It's what Trump wants. Because Trump's a dictator. It's what Trump wants. Because dictators rule by force, baby. It's what Trump wants. He wants to create a crisis so that he can put the military on our streets. To distract? I don't know, to distract, right? Send in the National Guard into California. When the governor, against the governor of California's own wishes, the state government, hey, MAGA, hey, Trump voters, Trump supporters, whatever happened to the notion of states' rights, baby, right? The governor says no. All the local government officials in California say, National Guard? We don't need a National Guard on our streets. These are peaceful protests. 99% of the people out here in this little section of Los Angeles, hey, America, do you know how freaking big the city of Los Angeles, is? Do you know how big Los Angeles County is? And do you know that the vast majority of Los Angeles County doesn't even include the city of Los Angeles? No, most of America has no clue. But the government of California said, we don't need the National Guard. Law enforcement has this under control. The LAPD, LA cops put out a statement over the weekend. The vast majority of people who've been out protesting have been protesting peacefully. There have been a few agitators who were not part of the protesters who've caused some trouble, but it's under control. Law enforcement has this under control. The LAPD put that out. This has been a peaceful protest. Gavin Newsom, no matter what you think of Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, the state of California said, no, Trump, do not bring the National Guard here. We don't need them. You will make this worse. But that's the whole point from Trump's perspective, isn't it? TikTok. That's the whole freaking point, man. This is what Trump wants. He's been dying for the American people to take to the streets and just a little bit cause just a little bit of trouble, and boom, Trump can put the Marines on our streets. Keith, you got a headline at all just generally on what's been happening in LA? This all began about 3 to 4 days ago. By the way, right? So ICE immigration cops going into places of business, going into schools, going into communities, going into courthouses where people have been, where people who are here, who've claimed asylum, where people who are here on a temporary protected order, they're literally called into court. They've got an appointment in court, and ICE agents went in there to nab them. Who started this? Who provoked this? Do you understand, MAGA? Do you understand how this whole thing in LA started? The protest in Los Angeles started, and I don't give a damn what Fox News says. And again, I just got to say, right, all of you who watch Fox News like you say you read the Bible, understand Fox News is blowing smoke up your ass. Fox News is lying to you. I know that because I used to do some of this. Man, you turn on Fox News right now in Los Angeles, or you turn on Fox News yesterday or Saturday or Friday, I mean to tell you, it's worse than the fires in LA. It's like the entire city of Los Angeles is burning down. Every single automobile in Los Angeles has been set on fire. That's what you hear when you watch Fox News. And by the way, MAGA, they lie to you on Fox News, just like Trump lies to you. And they lie to you on Fox News, just like Trump lies to you, because they have zero respect for you, MAGA. Makes me so sad and angry, but sad. The misinformation that the right, and I say this as someone who comes from the right and used to put out misinformation on the right, the misinformation that the right, disinformation that they purposely put out to create the impression that the entire city of Los Angeles is burning to the ground right now. Every automobile in Los Angeles has been set on fire, all to inflame and to scare you. They work for Trump. They're Trump's court jesters. Hannity and all the rest are, right? They're all trying to make up this case that, right, what Trump wants, right? I want Marines on the streets on top of American citizens. Remember, these protests in Los Angeles the last 3 to 4 days. Absolutely, Gilly. Wake the fuck up. Do you remember how these started? Do you remember how these protests started 3 to 4 days ago? You may have forgotten, but masked ICE agents jumped out of vans at a Home Depot in tactical gear and charged at a group of day laborers. That's how this whole thing started. Masked ICE agents at a Home Depot jumping out of unmarked vans in tactical gear, charging at a group of day laborers in LA. That's how this whole thing started. Even Tom Homan, Trump's knucklehead, I don't even remember what his title is, I hate immigrants czar. Tom Homan even said, when asked, he said he admitted and acknowledged the vast majority of immigrants who've been detained in LA the last 3 to 4 days are not criminals, do not have criminal records. This thing started because ICE started it. Our immigration agents started it in a provocative manner. Full tactical gear in a Home Depot parking lot, full tactical gear with the helmets on and everything, charging at a group of day laborers in a parking lot at Home Depot, and away it went from there. And the American people out in Los Angeles, upon finding out that their neighbors, their community members were being nabbed at Home Depots, nabbed at their homes, nabbed off the streets, nabbed in court as they follow up on their court appointments. Yeah, plenty of Americans in Los Angeles got pissed off on Friday, and they took to the streets to peacefully protest. And again, the facts are 99% of the people who've been out there the past 3 to 4 days in this little 2 to 3 block area in the huge city of Los Angeles, in the mammothly huge county of LA, this little 2 to 3 block radius, 99% of the people out there protesting have been protesting peacefully. And like with everything on the right and the left, you'll find agitators who are not protesters, who are just, in this case, who knows what, anarchists, whatever, maybe some of the same people who've been causing trouble on our college campuses. Sure, a few people rioted and committed acts of violence and property damage. And again, they should be held accountable. But the American people, because it's our job as Americans to stay informed and not be, as our founders said, as our founders told us, Americans, don't be influenced by bullshit. Keep yourself informed. It's a dangerous thing when you go online. It's a dangerous thing when you go on Fox News and you're given the impression that all of LA is burning to the ground. And people, Trump voters, begin to think that all of LA is burning to the ground. And it's all part of the plan, because then Donald Trump wants to go to his voters and say, can I bring in the Marines? Can I bring in the Marines? And Trump's supporters will say, yeah, because all of Los Angeles is on fire. A couple points. Why is Trump doing this? Trump wants this fight because for a few, I'd say 3 reasons. He wants to because he's a pussy, a wussy, and a coward. He's always trying to give the impression that, he's some tough ass. So he wants to give the impression that he's really tough. He wants to lie to his voters that there's some crisis going on in LA right now. Right. And you think about it. We're 4.5 months in with Trump. There's no immigrant crisis in this country, just like there's no trade crisis in this country. Trump just manufactures shit. And again, by the way, Trump voters, hate to rain on your parade with some factual information. Joe Biden in 2024, Joe Biden last year deported more people in this country than month to month than Donald Trump is so far. Oh boy, did you hear that, MAGA? Did you hear that, my MAGA brothers and sisters? Even now in June, the first 4 months of the first 4 months of the Trump administration, he's not even deporting anybody on a monthly average, on a monthly basis. He's not deporting more people than Biden did just last year. Joe Biden deported more people in 2024 than Donald Trump is so far in 2025. You know the difference? Hey, MAGA, somebody shout from the mountaintop and tell me the difference. You know the difference? Trump puts a camera on this shit. Trump's putting a camera on his deportations. Biden never did. Obama never did. Obama deported way more people than Trump did in each of his terms. But Obama and Biden did it the right way. And they didn't put the cameras on the ICE raids and the deportations because, unlike Trump, they were doing it lawfully and they were not trying to scare the piss out of the American people. They were not trying to tell the world, like Trump is, that look at us, America. We are one cruel country, baby. Hey, you immigrants around the world, don't you even think about coming here, because if you come here, we're going to nab you in a Home Depot parking lot. Now, Biden never put cameras on this, and he deported more people than Trump did. Obama never put cameras on this, and he deported more people than Trump did, because for Obama and Biden, it wasn't about the cruelty. It wasn't about the fear. It was just about enforcing the law. With Trump, it's all about the fear and the cruelty. Why does he want this crisis at one level? He wants to distract by how he has fucked and broken our economy, namely, you remember these tariffs, these really bad, stupid, ignorant tariffs, already messing with the economy. Already 75 to 80% of American companies are raising prices. Already people are losing their jobs. Already American companies aren't hiring. Already small businesses in this country are being hugely negatively impacted. Already the American people are feeling the pain of more expensive stuff. Already the American people are seeing their 401ks going up and down and up and down and up and down. All of that Trump has taken, was handed a great economy. He's ruined it. So he needs to put your eyeballs on something else. And what is Trump and what do my former friends on the right always do when they want to put your attention somewhere else? Hey, look at those brown and black people. Look at those people in this country illegally. Look at those immigrants. I'm going to go after them because he knows, Trump knows, his voters, sadly, will eat it up. Will eat it up. This is a stunt, an ugly, cruel, dangerous, un-American stunt by Donald Trump. He is trying to gin up a crisis. Again, you know how this typically works, right? There's a civil disturbance in a state. The governor oversees the response using law enforcement in his state. And when the governor of a state needs backup, he reaches into the over a million of law enforcement cops all over the country in other states to come in and help, because in America, it's a law enforcement issue. In America, right? We are a democracy. We have a rule of law here. We are not a dictatorship. It's not a military thing. We don't put our military on our streets. And if and when a governor ever needs backup, right, the governor is in charge of his own National Guard. Each state is in charge of their own National Guard. And when a governor needs backup beyond law enforcement from his state or other states, a governor can call up his own National Guard. But for a president to circumvent that and say, I don't care what the state of California says. This is what Trump did. I don't care what the state of California says. I don't care what they want. I don't care what their read of the situation is. MAGA, I'm stepping over the governor. I'm going to order the National Guard in. I'm going to put a number of Marines on hold to have them at the ready. You tell me what Trump's trying to do? Forget about freedom of speech. Again, 99% of these protesters in California all weekend just exercising their free speech, protesting peacefully. Forget about states' rights, MAGA, MAGA. Don't you ever, MAGA, MAGA, tell me you believe in states' rights again. So when we got our next Democratic president and he says, I'm going to go into Tennessee or Alabama, I screw what the Republican governor in Alabama or Tennessee says. I'm going to send in the troops. You can't complain if a Democratic president does that, MAGA, MAGA. No, Trump's an idiot, but he's a dangerous idiot, and he's an un-American idiot. And what he's doing in Los Angeles right now is utterly un-American. Goes against everything this country stands for. A direct shot at the rule of law, a direct shot at freedom, a direct shot at states' rights. All to distract from how he's fucked things up economically right now, all to scare people about immigrants, all because, as Stephen Miller, right, Trump's deportation henchman, Stephen Miller screamed a week ago, we're not deporting enough people. Joe Biden deported more than we did. Stephen Miller screamed that in the White House last week because they weren't deporting more people than Obama did. So all of a sudden now, Miller told Trump, man, we got to deport. We got to do whatever we can. Troops, military, everybody, immigration cops need help. We got to deport more and more and more and more. So they're ginning up a crisis. Final point. This is just a dress rehearsal. This is just the beginning. Donald Trump, his wet dream is to have Marines pounding on American citizens on our streets. He said last night, we want troops everywhere. MAGA, what do you think about that? The President of the United States last night said, we want troops everywhere. And so this is what he'll do this summer. And this summer is a dress rehearsal for next summer, because next summer he will do it again in earnest in a big, big way, because Donald Trump will try to shut down the midterm elections. He will try to stop. He'll invoke the Insurrection Act and try to stop the midterms from happening. This is just a dress rehearsal. Final point. What do we do then? Well, then what do we do? What do the American people do? Well, Trump wants a crisis. He's dying for a crisis. He's dying to put the military on the streets. So don't give him that crisis. Don't give it to him. Man, protest. Man, I want to see billions and billions of people all over the country protesting every day and week while Donald Trump is in the White House. Protest peacefully. Don't give him an excuse. Don't give him an inch. Don't give him a quarter of an inch to say, crisis, here come the Marines. Don't give it to him. Protest peacefully. Protest peacefully. In huge numbers. Protest peacefully. You riot. And by the way, all of you like me who oppose Trump, who oppose the tyrant in the White House, if you riot and you engage in violence and you commit crimes, that's the wrong thing to do. That's a bad thing to do. It'll destroy your whole message. You will lose, rightly, the vast majority of the American people, and it will only help Trump. Let me say that again to everybody who, like me, is a resistor. If you riot and engage in violence on our streets, that's wrong. You will only help Trump. You will destroy your message, and you will lose the vast majority of the American people, rightly. So don't do that. No. Let's see an uprising, but an uprising like this country has never seen of peaceful protesters. Look, here's the deal. Um, Donald Trump is disappearing innocent people off of our streets, and he's putting the military on our streets. Donald Trump doesn't give a flying fuck about the rule of law. Donald Trump is the very tyrant that our founding generation rose up against. Hey, America, it's time for us to rise up again. I mean that. Rise up like we've never risen up before. Rise up, risen up before. In great numbers, exercising our right to peacefully protest, exercising our First Amendment rights. We got to rise up. And I've said before, I believe it, the day's coming when we will have to engage in civil disobedience, but you riot, you engage in violence, the cause loses. You riot, you engage in violence, Trump wins. You don't riot, you don't engage in violence, the resistance wins. Hey, you choose. I'm going to stop there because my wife says I go on too long. So there's no easy segue to this, but Keith, I'm going to turn. My face-to-face conversations tour with the American people continue this week. This week, we're putting out clips of a conversation I had a while back with students, college students at the University of Delaware. A great group of engaged, interested college kids who were all to a man and a woman, I'm assuming they still are, so deeply concerned about where this country is politically. Most of them were cynical, pissed off at both parties, pissed off at Trump, pissed off at the Democrats, and didn't know what needed to be done, right? How to get involved and how to help save this country. It was a fascinating conversation I had with these students at the University of Delaware. I'm going to show you, Keith, we got a brief clip. TikTok, go ahead, Keith. We got a brief clip, right?
To remain civil, we must consider everybody in America to be in the in-group. We need to listen and speak. We the people is about using your voice. So remaining civil is listening to everyone and speaking in a way that everyone understands as being respectful and as being something that they can bear listening to.
Something. That's interesting. But be respectful and listen. You all would feel comfortable making that a requirement to be a citizen. Not a requirement, but a basic responsibility. Keep yourself educated, participate, be respectful, be civil. Find common ground? Would that be a responsibility or just, what if you can't find common ground with people?
I don't think it should be an expectation that you need to. I think some things are so fundamentally different that you can have different opinions because you came from different cases. But I don't think someone should be made out to be evil just because they disagree with you. And I think that's something that needs to be accepted, but you don't always have to change somebody's opinion for progress to.
Well, I think that's a good point. And I think that's why your point of at least just listening and understanding, even if you and I are never going to agree on guns, I know now why you feel the way you do. If you're going to be a citizen in this country, understand that other people have different values, different lifestyles, different belief systems. And you don't have to agree with them, but you have to be tolerant of them.
There's a little clip. Thank you, Keith. TikTok, hopefully you picked that up. Here was the deal. I sat down with a group of about 6 or 7 college students, University of Delaware. Great conversation. That was just a little snippet. A big part of the conversation was I asked them this question. When you become an American citizen, to keep this democracy going, it should be your responsibility to do what? What should be your responsibility in this free society as an American citizen? Like, right. Again, most of us were born Americans, but when you gain citizenship and you become an American, there should be like a sheet of paper that says right there, okay, you're an American citizen. Congratulations. To help keep this democracy going, it's your responsibility to do what? That's what we focused on in this conversation. And it was fascinating. Their answers were fascinating. They focused a lot on being tolerant. This notion of pluralism, that we live in a country where we all believe in different gods or we don't. We all sleep with different people or we don't. We all identify as how we identify as or we don't. We all have our beliefs, right? We all have different beliefs. We all have different creeds. We all have different lifestyles. We all do different things. And even if we don't find common ground with anyone, with people who disagree with us, tolerance means that we understand and accept that there are differences. Even if we disagree with what people think, we, as an American citizen, we accept the fact that there are people who think differently than me. Tolerance. A pluralistic society. People of differences living among each other. That was a big one. Respect, stay informed. These young folks at the University of Delaware emphasize that over and over and over. It's your responsibility as an American, they told me, to stay informed, to not be led astray by bullshit and lies. How timely is that right now? It was a really cool conversation. As always, the lengthier versions of my conversation with these students at the University of Delaware is up on my Substack. Go check it out. Go to socialcontractwithjoewalsh.substack.com. If you go to my Substack, Social Contract with Joe Walsh, thanks, Keith, .substack.com, we've got the lengthier versions of my conversation, my face-to-face conversations with these young people at the University of Delaware, especially a longer version of this topic. To save this democracy, every American should be responsible for what? It was a really cool conversation. Go to my Substack. That, and I think we've got 2 or 3 clips up of my conversation with the college students at the University of Delaware. Check it all out. As always, all of my other conversations, every week I'm out there talking to somebody, listening to somebody, some group of people. It's my face-to-face conversations with Americans tour. All of our content is out there. Go to my Substack. It's in the archives. I think we've got it in a section called Conversations with Joe. Check out all of these conversations. Thanks for listening. Hope you had a good weekend. Don't forget, by the way, June 14th, this upcoming Saturday, No Kings protest all over the country. I'm going to be down in South Carolina on the 14th, speaking in Charleston and speaking in Columbia, South Carolina. Come out and join me. Go to indivisible.org to get info, or go to 5050.1, spell that out, 5050.1, to get information on where there are No Kings protests in a town or community near you. As always, go to our other website, oneflaginitiative.org. That's all one word, oneflaginitiative.org. Thanks, Keith. Join the No Kings movement. Get your No Kings merchandise. And we'll point you where you need to go as well to learn about protests near you on June 14th. Let's have a good week. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.